Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the AIP podcast. It's a new year, and this is Ann Cheng, the CEO of Supercharged Lab, and of course, your host on behalf of the AI Partnerships Corp. Today, we are thrilled to have a special guest from Maison. It is a company transforming the retail industry one immersive experience at a time. So, to everybody here tuning in with us today, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Stephen Gay, representing the company. And Stephen is truly remarkable in the field, innovating in the intersection of technology and luxury experiences. His journey is dedicated to refining how we perceive and interact with consumer goods in a digitized retail landscape. And having worked with brands like Lauren, Stephen really understands that luxury furnishing is a totally overlooked market. So, in this episode, we're going to explore and dive deep into the world of Maison, exploring its game changing digital retail platform where luxury converges with immersive storytelling. So, let's you know, give a warm welcome to Stephen Gay joining us on this exciting journey as we discuss and shape the future of luxury retail landscapes. Stephen, so good to have you on the show with us today. Let's talk a little bit about you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about you, and maybe you can start with telling us a little bit about your journey. How did you go from Ralph Lauren to artificial intelligence? It's a rather different tangents, isn't it?
Definitely different. I always kind of joke and preface with I can barely turn my phone on, so I kind of come at it from a very different perspective. So my background, like you mentioned, so I was previously at Ralph, so got pulled out of school a little early, and it ended up becoming the youngest concept designer ever for Ralph Lauren Purple Label. So the luxury collection, and technology was very far outside my purview, and I just wasn't interested in it. And just didn't think it could, quite frankly, help the design process. I usually thought it could hurt. Um, but now I'm a believer, a big believer, and yeah. So our kind of company now um, kind of sits right at the epicenter between luxury and storytelling and retail and technology. Um, yeah. So
Wow, what a great story. There's been a lot of work done in the retail space over the years, and particularly everybody's talking about digitizing the customer experience. And why do you think there have been so many efforts that seem to have failed, and why do you think you will succeed where others have fallen by the wayside?
yeah. So I mean, just to be brutally honest, everything out there right now typically is built. By technologists for technologists. And I do think that you need that really interdisciplinary kind of insight and perspective to be able to unlock truly innovative kind of ideas or technologies. Um, I think that so our core business mode Maison is a multi-brand luxury home goods retail platform. You can think of it similar to like a Farfetch or Net-a-Porter, but with the kicker being that everything that we do is entirely digitally backed or digitally based. And what I mean by that is everything has a digital twin. So we developed the first multi-brand retail platform that's actually, so none of the products actually exist. So we actually create 3D models of all these different products and the digital materials to be able to put them into different environments, for instance, and tell stories and to show these really beautiful experiences in ways that have previously been unimaginable. So imagine this, Anne. So if we wanted to, and we actually did, imagine us putting Jacques Cousteau on a beautiful Brazilian chair on Mars. Like that's possible now. I don't know why you would. I mean, it's fun, but basically, what we've been able to do is extend the storytelling and unlock storytelling to new heights at previously unimaginable scale. And so that's really where we think technology is going. And yeah, I mean, I think you do have to have that interdisciplinary kind of perspective to be able to create product that actually brands and consumers want. And I think that by having that built-in North Star as that multi-brand retail platform, it enables us to kind of be true to ourselves and have something we're building internally for ourselves first and foremost, but then also can be helpful across retail and beyond as well.
That's amazing. Um, Stephen, we talked previously about how digital worlds need to change, and maybe you can talk a little bit to this statement. Why is change so imperative, and what change would look like?
Yes, there's a lot of changes needed. The industry is set up in a way currently, and when I say industry, I just mean digitization at its most fundamental level. Everything, and again, when you think of 3D worlds or 3D product creation or 3D PLMs, the product lifecycle management, a digital PLM, everything, the underlying infrastructure to date is just not set up to do any of that. Everything has been developed by gamers for gamers. So you have the Unreal Engines of the world, incredible companies and technologies, but they're just built for something different. And I guess the quickest and simplest way I could maybe kind of illuminate what that even means is like, imagine if Tesla were to come in and instead of putting sensors embedded into their cars, imagine if they were actually to create these synthetic data models and run all their AI based on worlds that were developed for games. So like whether it's Fortnite or Grand Theft Auto, that's basically the inflection point we're at right now, which is digitization wholesale. So until or unless somebody comes in and creates true SSOT, so single sources of truth, of sensed data from the real world that's entirely unbiased. Until somebody does that, you run into a whole bunch of issues: scalability, interoperability, you name it, it go down and down and down the list. But until or unless somebody comes in and transforms that from the ground up, I'm not super bullish on digitization across companies or retail becoming a thing.
Hmm. So your technology is changing the way that neural networks and their relevant algorithms are being built. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we've developed this pretty cool ecosystem. One of the main applications being what we call the TMAC. So it's the Total Material Appearance Capture System. And I'm going to throw a big word at you, but it's really not that fancy. But basically what it is, it's a cross-polarized photometric stereo scanning system. It's the largest commercially available one of those possible. And so we've developed this across the worlds of academia and some really large technology companies. But effectively, what that enables any brand, company, or even a creative to do is to be able to put any material. So whether it's a fabric, a suede, a metal, a wood, whatever it may be, put it into a very, very large capture device. And then you basically, what I say is press the big green button, and it automatically spits out a beautiful, fully tieable, incredibly scientifically based and very, very accurate digital material. And then what you do with that digital material once it's created in a matter of seconds is that then you can actually go and put that on any 3D object in basically any different rendering engine. And it's a really, really big breakthrough for brands because the fidelity level of rendering or of 3D creation, 80% of it's driven by digital materials. And so previously, before a technology like the TMAC were to come out, you have a lot of subjectivity baked into the process. So it's like a lot of artists like using Substance Designer within an Adobe product or like a Photoshop to manipulate pixels. But as you can probably imagine, it's a really, really time consuming thing. And there's just a whole bunch of different levels of fidelity versus non-fidelity. So that's one of the core applications. And then we've developed a whole back-end kind of a platform to be able to digitize products, whether it's furniture, fashion, sneakers, actually we're doing some with automotive companies, aerospace companies. So again, the underlying platform and what we've been able to develop is really industry agnostic, because if you can digitize a sofa, you can really digitize anything. So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to, I guess, the digitization of products from an internal kind of perspective, what we've been able to develop, that entire pipeline.
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about your customers and what's the customer experience like? If I were a fine furnishing brand, how would I get started?
Yeah, so the way I kind of describe it is, so Mode Maison as a platform is the Farfetch or the Net-a-Porter meets Pixar, basically. And that's kind of where we sit. And so we actually go around the world and we've been able to kind of our storytelling background and we share we share an appreciation with these brands because we come from the same world they do. We partner with some of the I say the biggest and the baddest luxury furniture and home goods brands from around the world that have traditionally never gone online before. And so we digitize all those products and those brands and those stories, and then sell their products on our platform. So we're in a private marketplace beta with all these brands. But then when it comes to the underlying technology, we have an independent research lab called Maison Labs, and all the technology we developed for our own internal use case for our own internal platform. Again, it's obviously very valuable for other companies and other use cases. So we actually licensed that to some very, very large retail companies across the world. So the experience level for Maison platform versus the independent research lab is a bit different because they're kind of, you can call them two different products. But yeah, the Maison platform, I'm very excited to share with you very soon because it's really, really fun. You go on there and you're just kind of immersed with all these incredible worlds and, products, and it's really cool.
That's amazing. So, what are your plans, Stephen? It's we're coming to the end of the show, but really, what are your plans and what's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so 2024, I think is going to be a big year for us. Um, in the next 3 months, we've got something coming out that is a pretty big breakthrough in AI that we're very, very excited about. I can give you a little hint. Imagine a mid journey, basically that brands can actually use, and imagine mid journey means 3D. So we're very, very excited about that. It's coming out in a couple of months, so we'll obviously give you some early access. So that's what I'm really focused on right now. I'm very, very excited about that. And then soon after, the platform for Maison will go live. And so obviously, I've been looking forward to that for a very long time.
Wow, that's sounding really, really exciting. I'm already thinking about playing around with your new system. But yes, it does bring us to the end of our time here, and time does indeed fly. So it was a really, really amazing time. Absolute pleasure having spent time with you today. So thanks once again, Stephen, for being on our show. And to our listeners and everyone following us on social media, thank you for joining us. We absolutely appreciate your time and support. My name is Anne. I'm from Supercharged Lab. I'm again your host for the AIP Partnership Corp, as well as the AIP podcast, and I am signing off. Thank you for tuning in.